Okay, so this is my house. Oh, wait, Woody, I was just going to film you in the door there. You look so cute sitting there. Oh, because I thought I'd make the video. I wasn't going to make a video, but I thought I'd better do this video. Even though I've just got up, but I am absolutely exhausted. You know, which is funny because, well, it's not funny. Because, you know, I just got up. I've had one drink. And, you know, normally I need more than one drink to get going. When I say drink, I don't mean that I get up and have and drink liquor, by the way. I mean like tea or coffee. I just thought I should correct that because, you know, I definitely don't think you should start your day with a alcoholic beverage. No. Even the most devout alcoholic usually waits a little bit later on in the day, although I'm not 100% sure about that. Oh, I should have to ask my grandfather, but he's long since gone, and so I can't ask him. But I think that he used to like to drink every day, except Sundays, when in those days the pubs were all closed all day on a Sunday. So Sunday was the one day when, unfortunately for him, he could not drink. Because unlike, you know, like some people are like, back in those days, people always went to the local pub to drink. They didn't tend to. Well, I suppose he could have brought it home, but no, he couldn't bring it home because he was, you know, happily married type of thing. And so therefore, you know, he could hardly, and as his wife, my nana, was a teetotaler, so basically he couldn't, you know, get a few bottles and bring it home and get drunk there. What? I don't know why I'm talking about this. I really don't. Do you know why I'm talking about this, big boy? Because I'm out of my mind, aren't I? You know, the hate of this matrix. When I say the hate of this matrix, you know, from a spiritual human standpoint, and I'm going to be impressive here, even though I've got nothing to be impressive about. You know, I'm probably the least spiritual of a spiritual human being that's left in this earth. But I'm battling myself, the matrix and everything else. Someone left a comment, I think something about what you least look at is what you most need to see, or something to that effect. I know I quoted it incorrectly, but essentially we don't look at ourselves probably enough. But of course that's the point, is that as we've rambled on so many times, you know, this matrix is full of what we would term hate, because technical beings tend to function, and even psychopathic people function. You know, they are, they're fueled by hate. When I say fueled by hate, like their life literally depends on receiving negative energy. So they're fueled by hate. That their fuel, their energy, what gives them energy, what gives them life. Well, it doesn't give them life. It doesn't actually. It actually takes life. But I can't explain it very well. But what just keeps them going, what is like their fuel, or their, you know, like the petrol you put in your car to keep your engine going, to keep your body going, because that's all essentially it's about for them, is keeping their body going. They're not interested in really keeping, you know, any spiritual stuff going, because they don't have that. And they don't want it. They've rejected that anyway, at the very least. You know, like as a human being. See, I lost my train of thought there because I immediately thought of love-hate. You know, I was talking about my grandfather. See how I've got about 10 thoughts coming to me at once. I was on my grandfather with the drinking. Then I was on to the love. because I was thinking, why when I just went to the door here to film the cat and to film the tree that's fell over at the back, it's not a tree, it's like a branch really, did my grandfather just pop into my mind and his drinking, because I foolishly said, oh, I just had to have one drink. I come down, I was exhausted. I've just got up, I was exhausted. But I'm making the video. The only reason I got the mobile down from stairs and I just clicked the video thing on was because I know that if I want to show you, because I just wanted to show how the matrix mind of the hate system, of the matrix mind works, or the technical beings, how they are negative energy. But, human beings have positive and negative. That's what, and we're battling that, particularly at this time, because I'll get back to my grandfather in a minute. I don't know why, because it was an interesting little story. I find it interesting anyway, but I find everything interesting. I find everything interesting about people, even though I hardly knew a lot of my relatives, and they've been dead since I was like about, I think my grandfather passed on when I was about 10 years old or something, and my nana went before that, I think, yes. She went when I was about 5. So so it's like that. But because your parents then will be affected by their parents, so therefore you have that, you hear a few things from them maybe, and you wonder, because it's a bit like if your parents are prominent in your life, as they should be, therefore, oh, my nose is running here, something. Therefore, what their parents were like, how they thought about them, or what effect they had on them, is what then you are confronted with, because your parents, I know my mother was incredibly affected, or seemed to adore her mother, and I was just going to use the thing about the grandfather. Oh, see, I've gone all over the place. I didn't even finish about the hate. Yeah, the hate that of course the technical beings, or even psychopathic, narcissistic psychopath. I say narcissistic psychopath because, someone asked me to clarify that. I don't know why people that know more than me ask me to clarify things. It's kind of funny. Or maybe they just want to see if I actually understand what I'm talking about. Well, that is a damn good point. Oh, and notice how my language is not getting very good these days, because I'm losing it, you see, so I don't care so much, so I let a few things out that I shouldn't. Also, I keep the company of people who use bad language since my relative came right back into my life, full time, shall we say. I had not been exposed to, I wasn't listening to flowery language, shall we say, swearing and stuff like that all the time. In fact, I wouldn't have heard it much, so I would only use, if I really was really angry or lost my temper or got extremely frustrated, maybe then occasionally I might let something out. But that would only that would usually be behind 4 walls, like where I'm standing, when I was living totally alone. So it wouldn't be like I would, anyone else would hear it, and I wouldn't be thinking that way all the time. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it's probably not relevant. But I don't think it sounds very good on a video, especially if you're talking about spiritual stuff like I'm supposed to be. And I don't know what I'm filming here. I'm showing you another dirty side to my, not so much my nature, because I actually like to have things really clean and really tidy. But instead, I have the dirtiest, most untidy place in Sydney, probably. Well, maybe not Sydney, because there probably are people who are huge hoarders with OCD hoarding. I don't have OCD hoarding, but it could look like that. But when I say I don't have OCD hoarding, that means you just hoard things. But as you can see, I've got so much junk around, so much junk. Some of it's not even mine. Like that gold bag over there's not mine. And of course, because I've had animals here for the last 8 years, I've got all this animal regalia around. And because I don't like to touch things, I tend to leave it untidy because of the animals and because, I'm just explaining it. But if I had the hoarding thing, if I was a hoarder, even like might look like that, I would have not be able to throw any of this stuff out. Whereas in reality, I could chuck all this stuff out in the garbage tin right now. Everything that is here is actually used, so that's the only reason it's not chucked out. But I have no problem throwing things out unless I like something, like a proper thing that I would really like. I have no problem throwing out things that, whereas hoarders can't throw out almost anything. Like if they bring, if they buy, a bottle of something from the supermarket, they'll keep the bottle for a large amount of time, that sort of thing, and they won't be able to put regular garbage even out to some extent. They might put some garbage out, but they will hoard a lot of unnecessary things. They'll bring junk into the place. Yes, I do occasionally bring stuff in, but it's very minute amounts, and usually it is something that I would use. So no, I'm not a hoarder. I can in fact, I do throw a reasonable amount out. It's just that then more stuff comes in, and it's mainly the problem. What am I talking about here? I'm actually explaining myself. I'm actually explaining a few things that, psychological, personal problems on a video, whereas I was supposed to be talking about the psychopathic, and now I've gone off onto hoarding, which is a totally different thing. Mind you, I have known hoarder psychopaths. No, I knew one hoarder psychopath. I probably shouldn't be saying this on the video because if anyone ever did listen to the videos in Sydney, it's quite possible they would know who I was talking about, but I assume that's not the case, but geez, I shouldn't be doing it. I always assume that all my videos, the few people that listen, are from overseas. I never ever think that anyone, even low, in fact, I wouldn't have put my name or my face to a video if I had realised that it was possible that people in your own local area, but hey, they're all of the Matrix, so they know, they're downloading and know most of what's going on. They're actually watching me right this very minute, so actually it doesn't matter, but I still think that it's a mistake to put yourself out there to where they 100% know that you know, because essentially they don't want to be exposed, don't forget. That's the whole thing. And they think that if you know too much, even if you don't personally say stuff about people to other people, because they're totally paranoid and because they're control freaks, as the saying goes, psychopathic control freaks. Control is what is their life 24/7, you could say, around real human beings, but around anyone that's around them to some extent, because that's their mindset. And they work for the Matrix, either consciously or unconsciously, by reason of that, because they are controlling me and everyone and anything else that's around them. That is how they function. That's how they think. And it is fueled by negative dislike or negative hatred, if you want to be more blunt about it. I don't like to use that word, but hey, I can. A few hours ago, I was feeling very negative towards towards one that actually I would have the most positive feelings for. In fact, the only real feelings. To my conscious awareness anyway. Whether other people believe that or not is, like I say something like that and it makes it sound pretentious or unreal or even too analytical, too psychological. Whereas, it's not like that. I shouldn't have to even be doing this. I should just say, hey, I like someone a real lot. I like someone far too much. I say far too much, because in this reality, there's that love-hate thing. That's right. Now, you would say that love, as someone said to me, is the highest vibration. It is. But in this matrix, if you don't reach that highest vibration, you can just as easily, that love can, if it's rejected, or if there's insecurity, or if there's any not full, not, if you're not, oh, see, I should be, if you're not, if it's not 100% working, where it's a total 100% exchange of high vibrational love, that's putting it at its ideal level, okay? So it's not always going to be like that, and no one's going to be, high vibrational love 24/7. That's unrealistic, and that's not life. That wouldn't be life remotely in a matrix, and it probably wouldn't be life even in a natural world. But it's still there. It's always there. It's just that because wherever you are, you're probably going to experience some difficulties, But that's also part of the fun. When I say the fun, I mean, it's not a negative thing to even argue with someone if there is good feeling. It's only when you argue with someone when that other person that you're arguing with doesn't have good feeling for you. Then you're on dangerous ground. Then you're playing with the matrix ones, and you're playing with the psychopathic nature, which will blow that out of all proportion and will seek to destroy you in return for it. Their revenge won't be like myself, where someone says something wrong, or you are hurt somehow by someone because maybe you can't get enough of them, So, and maybe you think, someone doesn't, like supposing two people like one another, but one person likes one person more than the other, or maybe seeks to see more of that person, or needs to hear or see, or both, more of that person. And then the other person has difficulties and can't reciprocate that. That person, if you're an insecure fool, as we all are, then you will interpret that as rejection, that, that person doesn't need to talk to me. I need to talk to that person, but they don't need to talk to me, so therefore that's interpreted as severe rejection if you have been played by the matrix, as we all have. So we're not in a level state of mind to where we can cope. And of course the matrix is playing us at such a terrible negative level at this time that we're not calm and collected to where we can go outside and say, oh, well, look, I didn't hear from someone for a few days or a week, or much less if it goes on a reasonable time. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but hey, I'll just go outside and go and live my life and do some pleasant activities, and the day will pass, and I won't spend all day ruminating about it, thinking about it, being depressed by it, which is what you do in the matrix, because the matrix, as soon as you go out, they're not going to let you focus on something else. They're going to make you either focus on their negative hate energy that's all around with the negative beings and their patrol system and their sound, negative noise vibration that's levelled at you, their, all that sort of stuff that is, being levelled against you, to where you can't even have your own little piece, even in a real world, shall we say, because even if you I've got noise outside distracting me while I'm making the video, even it's not loud, it's not even that bad, but it's a distraction, and it is deliberately coming past. Some people would say it's accidental. See, it's like when I make the videos and the cars distract you, because they're a patrol force, whereas if you thought they were random, you would just think, oh, it's slightly you would just take it as part of the scenery almost, even the noisy traffic. But that depends on the level of noise too. Once things, that's right, once they escalate it just that little few decibels, shall we say, that little bit more, even at a sound level or at a sight level, that's when, even if you're in a real world, it would be annoying. But because you know it's all programmed deliberately against you and it's 24/7, it goes from being slightly annoying to being, completely disruptive to your state of well-being, your mental well-being. To be honest, it does. And I've lost my train of thought. So they didn't want me to keep on the personal thing, and I have lost it. See how they were successful by just wheeling those garbage tins outside past this door here, because I was going to show, but where was I? I shouldn't be making these videos. I'm just trying to explain how bad it is for us, and how badly even our positive points are being played and used against us, like that love thing where love is the highest vibration, but it will be used unless you can make a go of that love vibration. But also the main thing is, I think with that, and this is being personal, and you can take it, who's ever listening, whichever way you like. I mean, it's not really directed to the masses, if you know what I mean. That sounds pretentious to say the masses when I've got a handful of people. But what I'm saying, it is really individual, rather than personal, individual, rather than to people who are more interested in discussing the negative side of the matrix. Because there is, but that comment that was left does imply that this matrix does force you to look at yourself too. It does. It forces you to look at yourself, but also your reaction to people, and you want to be on an even keel where you stay calm. Like I say, but even if, I mentioned that love thing, that you could, like the feelings and stuff, and if the matrix is playing you and playing someone else, if you were no, obviously we're not talking about a marriage or where people are together, because you're not going, but you could still have rejection to where you could have arguments even in personal relationships. I deal with that daily. But even that is a different ballgame if you're realising that you're not going to hit the high vibrational love connection with, those that are around you. You know that. You don't expect it. It's an impossibility. But then again, it may be a mistake to try for connection, across the ocean, shall we say, because even if you weren't in a mad matrix that is working against you to bring you at a low vibration and make you feel angry and unhappy, almost every second of the day. Obviously, they can't totally control you to where, but they're almost successful in the sense that, if you're pretty much feeling negative, and not confident, because you see, you have to have confidence even if you're talking about, say, connection of high vibrational feelings or high vibration between two people. Because this is essentially all that I have thought this now for a couple of years. I've thought, well, look, personally, I know that I cannot outdo the matrix in any other way except at a personal level, and even that has been a gigantic failure for me, at a personal relative level, shall we say. But I still was quite conscious that at being able to get that vibration up. until I actually encountered, until you encounter an individual that you recognise as similar to yourself, or that you see something in them where you see that they have that capability, but also where the old saying where you just click. In other words, you can't even explain why. There probably are reasons why, of course, if you wanted to go into it psychologically. But hey, do you need to? You don't really. You know when it's not something that you need to explain. And it spoils it, I think. See, the Matrix likes to analyse everything. That's why they're reading my thoughts, analysing your feelings. Every reaction that I've had over the last year and a half, which has been pretty intense, has been downloaded onto the computer, as a psychological study of a human mind, at an emotional level, because I give them that unintentionally full on, because, they push you into it. And when you think that you can beat them at a emotional, psychological level, in other words, when you think that you could connect at a high vibrational love level with another individual human being, you think that you might have a slight upper hand in swinging the matrix your way, to where the vibration, to where they don't have quite as much power. That's how I've always looked at it. But I never thought that would happen. And then if it did happen, you put yourself in great danger of the risk. Both people would be putting themselves in great danger, because it is a gamble. And because you are a human being, the love vibration isn't taken lightly by you, unfortunately. Like, even before it happens, you think, oh yeah, I'll just be loving and I'll be sweet to everyone and I'll chat. But that's because you're not at the true love level to where it is serious. It should be happy, of course, so it can be light and all the other things as well. But it is deadly serious when you're in the matrix, because they will be working against it, because they know it does shift the matrix a bit. They know it swings. And they know more than we know that it's probably the only advantage you have left, because they have taken over everything else. They've taken over so much that, a bit like me talking here on a video, I could talk my head off to people and even try to logically show the patrol system, the matrix, the things that have been levelled against me and why they're doing it, what it's really all about, the different types of so-called people that are on this earth, or in this earth matrix, really, if you want to be more accurate. And even that I don't fully understand. I don't see it with my own eyes. I experience it. So that's another thing too, as human beings, because our awareness is not what we should have. We're not allowed that access because we're being closed down. So we are at our lowest level, and the matrix is all around and totally in control now. And they're in control at a real level too, because at a conscious, real earth, even if you didn't believe any of this, they are in control. They always have been, really. I mean, it's not like, we've ever just been able to do everything we want. And if you realise that, that you're working, that they are always working against you, being in a positive environment, shall we say, that's another thing. What is all around you, they will seek to put around you what is negative for you. So that way they have the life they want. They have the hate, the negative energy, or the negative vibration going, because that's what they enjoy, because they are technical beings that don't vibrate, I'm trying to be fancy, but they don't experience love. They don't experience any love. Like even the love of I don't know. When I say love, I mean, because love is like everything else, as someone said to me, like you could say, I suppose, it's on a spectrum or a continuum. You could love, like I could love, you know, I don't want to use something that is real because otherwise it gets too personal and I feel hypocritical because I'm such a failure. But I could love that stuffed koala bear teddy over there. It's not coming out. I need to put the light on, but I don't want to show how messy the place is. But that was, I'm not even going to, immediately I was nearly going to go into a story about that, how I acquired it. But it's really not relevant. And actually, I don't have any strong feel. I do have strong feelings for koala bears, the real ones that may or may not still exist, or they used to be in huge numbers in Australia. In fact, they were almost like the kangaroo. The kangaroo used to be even on our national, what was it? Was it on the, I don't know, on something like a bit like a flag or something? Because I'm not up on all that. I'm terribly ignorant on even my own country's flag. I didn't even know what my own country's flag looked like. My son was horrified when I saw it in the flag shop down the road. And I said, what flag is that? And he said, you don't even know the damn flag of your own country. And then you make videos as though you know about the universe and all that sort of rubbish. And he's so right. And so, naturally, I wouldn't know the fleur-de-lis or whatever that other thing is, but I did look it up. Yes, I did look it up afterwards. Someone mentioned the fleur-de-lis, and they were like, oh, how could you not know that? Well, don't forget, I'm not French. I am Australian, by the way, so, that is a fact. And, I got a bit annoyed about that, negative vibration, even though I really have nothing but positive vibration there. But unfortunately, because you're in this matrix and because you're, but you're not meant to be lovey-dovey all the time too. It wouldn't be any fun. You have to be real. But between real people, there should be a strong appreciation of what is real. Because there's no venom behind it. You know that it's based in love. It's like if you have two friends, should never really be driven totally apart. And if you are, you've really allowed yourself to, you've really allowed the matrix to let you slip and slide, right back into negativity because, that's a bond that shouldn't be broken. You should be able to have even an argument or a disagreement about something or a difference of opinion. But you should actually like that person more. You respect that difference. We're one, but we're not the same. As the song goes, we're one, but we're not the same. And we get to carry each other. But on the other hand, as the song also goes, we're one, but we're not the same. And we hurt each other and we do it again and again and again. But that's the matrix, you see. But, this was downloaded from me. And I say a lot of these things are downloaded from me, but they're also downloaded from other human beings because they're reading your thoughts, analysing your emotions and feelings. They actually said that, if you love someone, you can't hate them for more than 3 days. After that, you forgive and forget. I think that happened with the cat when he ate the pigeon about 12 years ago, and I think I mentioned this before. I screamed at him that he was an evil cat for 3 days, and I wouldn't speak to him or go near him because he wasn't inside then. He wasn't here like he is now. He was outside all the time with his other friends and other owners. He's not coming out. It's too dark. I need to put the light on, but I don't want to show the mess. But on the 3rd day, I said hello to him and patted him, etc. With my gloves, I might add, because I am not totally on the level, as you can see. And I have to say that, I'm fallible and full of rubbish, restrictions. Now the whole world is full of the restrictions too, so they like, oh, well, if She can be frightened of germs, we can be frightened of viruses too, so the whole world's like gone mad now too. See, I thought it was only me that used to be mad for a lifetime. Now everything else is. So, but the Matrix kind of laughs at that because it's like, yeah, well, we make the human beings funny and now we can make the whole world funny, But don't forget that if it's not ingrained in you, you will have more of a choice. I have a choice too. But I'm weak, so I go with the what's been ingrained in me. But if it hasn't been ingrained in you, you have a more open choice. So a lot of people now that go along with stuff, it's not that they are really weak or that they're that they are being controlled. Their mind is being controlled by influence or by what they hear, and they believe what they're told. Essentially, that's true. That's the Matrix. They believe what the Matrix or what the controllers of the Matrix tell them. They trust that. It's funny that most people trust the Matrix, trust the technology more than they trust another real human being. That is what I am trying to break down here personally to someone. Yes, of course, we know that 99% of what is around us is negative. And so, therefore, we shouldn't trust. But you should trust something that's the same as yourself. And if you can't trust that or you don't recognise it fully, then you will be playing indirectly for the Matrix. So but hey, you may not be able to help it. I play for it. I play for the Matrix every day. I do. I have to say that, because even though I consciously don't want to and don't agree with this technological reality or this control reality, and I don't agree with, nor do I enjoy negative energy. See, that's the thing too. I don't enjoy negative energy. I'm not saying that occasionally I might not slip a bit but, essentially that is, if you get past what your jealousies of the Matrix, your envy of the Matrix is put into, this is just me being personal, because there are other elements that I do. I'm not going into the full psychology of things because I don't understand it. And so it's only personal. The things that I do are only what I've experienced personally. So it's my own foibles, really. And I just think that if someone else listens and they've experienced the same thing or they have similar foibles, they might get a little something out of it, but they're not going to get the whole picture because it's only just one little thing. It may not be that your downfall has been pushed occasionally wrongly by the Matrix due to false envy or false, sometimes you can even allow, you consciously know that you're doing wrong, in the sense that you might say, well, look, I shouldn't envy that person because that person has done me no harm, that sort of thing. But you still, due to your not being able to get on top of your environmental conditioning, shall we say. That's putting it fancy in a psychological way. It simply means that you've allowed, it'd be a bit like if you were in love with someone, right? I'm going to go dramatic here. I can't believe I'm making this video. I'm standing up here and I'm absolutely exhausted. Oh, and I haven't even had my second drink. Oh, I'll have to sit down. This video was supposed to be where I just show the trees and what they've done out the front, just to show at a petty psychological level how they try to emotionally, psychologically keep you at a low frequency or at a low mood, to where, you come out and you see that there's a big, huge broken branch thrown across your backyard, okay? That's why I put the mobile on, because it's now gone dark, so I can't show it. I was going to show it just before it was on dark, just while there was still some light there, because you won't be able to see it, although I could put the light on. But I'm too exhausted to get up and even put the light on. I haven't had it. See, should be making this video after I had a few drinks. Now I'm back onto my grandfather because I'm triggered. I'm being triggered. I'm triggering myself or the matrix. Or when I say triggering, I'm not keeping on the same flow of thought. See, the minute I said have the drink, I immediately thought, like I did at the start of this video, my grandfather drinking. I didn't finish that because I wasn't planned to even mention that. I put this video on to show the branch that was over in the little back part here. You know, where the cat was out here, but I didn't even get the cat because I was too slow coming down. But of course, the cat is technologically possessed. So of course, the minute I went, he looked so cute sitting in the door with the last bit of light. He looked like a poor little innocent old cat, and that may or may not be the real truth, shall we say? Let's be honest here. It ain't the truth, but we want to believe these things. Now, see, I'm just pulling that curtain across, but can you see? Oh, I don't want them to see me out there, though. Oh, jeez. Because there's a window there where they can watch me. See how that is all falling right across there? It's going dead now because it's been there for about 4 days now. But look, this huge wind come up and it fell over. It was actually up on the fence there. See, you can't hardly get out there now. See, it's covering, but it's actually dying off now, whereas it was bigger before because it had all the green. I don't know. It's like a big broken branch. And it actually is like the whole thing. It's actually the whole bit of a tree, but it's stuck on the fence there. And I rather liked it, actually. But you see, I rather liked it. I could go out, but I can't because it's too hard. I'll have to turn that off and just hold it. Oh. But see, they put that there, didn't they, Putty? The Matrix. When I say the Matrix, there was a wind that came up, but I heard it fall over. I was sitting here and I heard it fall over. And even though there was a wind coming up and my immediate normal human reaction is, oh, the wind blew it over. I knew the wind was not the reason it blew over. Even though, at a practical level, they even sent the wind up so that it looked plausible. So if I say to someone, oh, that was someone deliberately did that, because no one could get in there, supposedly, because there's a lock on that little gate that's just out there. And there's a big fence, and I don't think that the one next door could climb over that, although you never know what... actually, no. I think the Matrix is like this, where even the negative beings do abide by the laws of nature, shall we say, or by the laws of the Matrix. In other words, now I'm not saying that the cat's moving there when I said this, because I don't understand these things. I only see things. That's why I say they always make it look as though there's nothing... there's nothing magical, shall we say, about it. So everything always, and I like to deal in the reality myself. They know that, and I try to keep it real. But so what I'm saying is that doesn't mean that they don't use invisible technology to do things, but there will always be a physical, natural, plausible explanation put out by the Matrix to cover themselves, so that if you think, or if you said, oh, that was, oh, the people around here pushed that tree over, they're like, no, you're out of touch, because there's no physical way they could have done that, because one, the wind blew up, so that tree was blown over onto the backyard like that by the wind. And it was inside your place, on the side of your fence. It was really your thing, your bit of tree. So someone would have had to climb over, you know. And even I didn't see anyone, that's right. I think they'd had to have been very quick. You know, but, you know, if I say, oh, well, look, I think technology... because it could have been just that the Matrix sent up a terribly strong wind, which they can do, and blow that thing over. But I don't think. But personally, when it happened, I didn't even think that, even though the wind was terribly strong, because there's the fence there. There's almost like a blockade to where it's not. You wouldn't feel the wind because it's covered by the fence, because there's a fence around that little enclosure. See, so and also I just think that the actual part of it on the bottom is quite solid. It was right on the ground. It was between the concrete. So I found it a bit, even though it looks quite plausible that yes, of course, that strong wind would have blown it over, I actually didn't buy it. But it probably doesn't matter. But either way, I rather liked it, and it's now blown. It's completely finished now. It's completely, because it's actually blown over right at the root level, but it's still stuck there because it's not totally broken. So so there again, the cat can't. It's covering the whole thing now. I have to get someone to take it away, shall we say, and I can't do that because it's still connected to a bit. But either way, I was just going, oh, jeez, I'm so sorry. I'm showing this floor that is so dirty it needs to be mopped. Dirty laundry in public. I think most people can see that I'm real, but whether they think I'm actually plausible in my right mind is another thing, because no one would make a video inside their house with a floor like that and actually show it. And there's no reason I should either. I could easily film up here and keep it to where, but I just lose it, you see, so I just do it and I don't know what I'm actually doing. So this one's all right. This floor's not so bad, even though it is not really, I don't actually mop it, but I do tiny bits of it, but it gets dirty. They always make it dirty too. They always make you nervous to where you drop stuff. But either way, I was just going to show here. But see, it's too dark to show it now. I was going to show it just before light. Yeah, it's garbage night, but none of this is going to come out. Notice how they've added an extra light in that place opposite. Oh, did you see that, how it just come on? As soon as I looked, so they've got 3 lights here now. Did you see it just come on? I'm sure it come out in the video. That shows that they are totally matrix control people, that they are patrolling, watching me. That is blatant. They already added an extra light just about 2 weeks ago. They put an extra light there. So they've got 3 lights in the front there now, so that when I come out like now of a night, which I try not to do, they've got 3 lights. But did you see that just the 3rd one actually come on? Now, why would you have 3 lights? That is just showing. And there's always a house with lights on. It's either that one or that. But either way, it's putty. See, they don't care. They'll say, oh, she's just crazy because we can put our lights on and off. But they've got 3 lights now. That's this light business. Even though that is not overly annoying, but you're still aware of it when you come out. That's to show that we're watching you. We are controlling you. I'm getting really angry here. Just for a second there, see, that was real hate, and they feed off that. Because that was real hate coming from me then, like thinking, how dare all these people think that they're controlling me, and basically they are. And that makes extreme anger in a person, just wanting. No, because it's one thing to say you even have controlling things around you, like say at a country level, and you have your laws and your police departments and different things like that. You kind of accept that, but to think that your very neighbours and the people that you know around you are all part of it, and that they are trying to control your existence every second of the day, that really makes you that does fuel hate. It does. So it's kind of wrong that then if you meet someone that is also having this negative matrix leveled at them, and then you end up in the love-hate war game that can be love, but probably shouldn't be if it gets too negative to where you foolishly, really want to opt out completely. You know what I mean? When I say opt out completely, I mean, don't take that, although it could be. That's the thing too. I mean, but where you want to walk away, which means that if you walk away from your one positive vibration, that's say, where you, that's left in the world at a personal level, if you do walk away because you can't deal with the matrix and then the personal elements, because don't forget, love is, if you have really strong love, not like, and also if you have an obsessive personality, I don't consider that I do, but I really do, because I do have the obsessive compulsive so-called disorder. Let's be fancy, the so-called, it's a disorder in the sense that, if you obsess about cleanliness or you obsess about this and it's obsessive, it's too much and extreme and it plays on your mind all the time. But see, love can be like that. If you have an obsessive personality, then that high vibration, which should work in your favour and should work even in the favour of your own kind, because positive vibration does tend to go out a bit, And that's why the matrix people desire to bring you down and to keep the negative vibration, because they sense that they can see that vibration and they want the anger, the hate vibration going. They want a low vibration reality. So if you are on the higher love vibration, they will try very hard to close that down. Because even if you're just one individual doing it, if you do it with another person, that creates a connection. I don't know what I'm talking about here, I have to admit. I'm making it up as I go along, but I believe every word of it. But I don't understand it. They understand it at a technical level and at a real psychological level. I don't. I just understand it at a personal, emotional level. And I'm just trying to break it down and verbalise it here in a video, hoping that it gets across or makes some sort of real sense, like to where you could, to where you can deal with it if you're encountering it. Actually, if you are see, they're making noises over in that house there where they've got the 3 lights, but it won't come out in the video because they can see that I'm out here thinking. But if you do make, see, I can't do it. But see, they're pulled out. What I was going to show was they pulled that whole branch over in the back of the little bits at the back of my place there. Pulled it completely over. Whether you want to say it's like the wind's blowing up now, whether you want to, doesn't matter. It's gone anyway. But all this that was out the front, it was all fully green everywhere and all over the ground and everything. And that was after it was pulled up, as you saw in a video, if you want to go back many a month, where they one day just come along and pulled up everything that was out my front. Even though most of it was weeds, but they know I like the weeds because they still look green and had a few flowers. I thought, I like it. To me, it's as good as having a flower garden or a rose garden or whatever. I don't mind it. And they know that you like that, so they ripped it all up. But they've done it again. Yesterday, they come along, and I was up in bed in the afternoon. I heard a noise, but I didn't know they were doing that. Because I had stuff in my ears too, but also, if I'd been up, I'd have come out and caught them doing it. But basically, because I was up in bed and trying to get to sleep, and it was late afternoon, I had only been up there a little while. Yes, I go to bed at different times, all different times. But they have ripped up and got rid of every single bit of greenery. There's only that, and they've even brought that down to half its size, that little bit that was on the side there. But basically, they've took it all away. Now, some people would say, oh, well, maybe, but it's just all dirt now, you see. Just all dirt, apart from that one little, it's a wonder they didn't even take that, but I think they took most of them. When I had about a dozen of them, they took the whole lot. But basically, they've got rid of it all again. And I was actually pleased because I thought, oh, well, at least I'll have all that greenery now for the summer. Because now it's just, because it didn't really look that great, but I liked it. And they read your thoughts, so they know that. So basically, they immediately come and got rid of it all. And if I said anything about it to someone, they'd say, oh, well, it was all weeds. But actually, it looked good. It wasn't weeds, and it looks bloody a lot worse now with just dirt and bloody leaves. Come on, Putty, come on in. Come on. But they got their satisfaction. See, I've even come to the door and filmed that. They get a buzz out of that because they're negative and anti-life and basically what a human being would call completely insane because, it's the bad or mad thing. But they're bad and mad because they're out of touch with reality from a human standpoint. But from the matrix standpoint, at a psychological level, I'm the one who's out of touch, you see. So it's like that. That's how it's meant. But Putty, come on in. I'm dropping everything here. I have to fold up. I didn't try and put. Come on, put. Putty, come on. How are you, Putty? You haven't done a possessed cat video for a while, and we're not going to do one because the kitchen is even messier than usual. I've got to get rid. It's garbage night, so I've got to get rid of all this rubbish that is around. So I've got to put it out, but I got till 5 in the morning to do that, so I will. But you know, that's what I say. I don't have any plausibility, because if you're like almost living in squalor and you're making videos about as though you should be. I should be living at a level, even at a physical level, that is more conducive to well-being and a clearer state of mind. That's right. But see, the Matrix doesn't want that. I can't do it all now. They drive you bonkers to where you can't do a lot of stuff. And physically, they bring you down to where you can't do as much physical stuff. You know, like I can walk down the street and I can turn a video on, so it makes it look as though I'm on top of everything. But in reality, you know, my body is very stiff and I can't, you know, I don't have great mobility. That is because of all the technology that all these negative beings around me are sending into this actual house, and even on the street for that matter. It's just that in the house, they can intensify it, they can concentrate it. I don't know how they do it, but they probably have machines or something inside all the houses that are around, because every house in Leichhardt is a technological house. By that I mean my house is too, but I don't have control over that technology. It is being, every house that is around me has got technology that the android artificial beings, you can put whatever name you want on them, okay, but they are artificial. They're not an individual human being like us, where we have our own thoughts and we don't, you know, they are essentially downloading our thoughts, but I'm not downloading them. I'm experiencing them because they are negative around me, with their negative actions, with the negative things that they do to you to bring you down and to try to suppress you and destroy you, really. Because, you know, if you are destroyed as a human being, you might still even if your body is still going, you will only just be existing the same as them, and in the end you will be brought down to their negative hate level, which is what they want, you know, because then they have full control over you. So then they have control over your mind, body and spirit, or soul, as they say. You know, isn't there a movie called Mind, Body and Soul? You know, or Body and Soul. And it's like that, because that just simply means, because the difference between you and them is that as a human being, and I only come to this conclusion because of what I've been experiencing, you know, because I always thought, hey, I'm a negative human being. You know, I've never experienced high vibration most of my life. But obviously, that's because I didn't realise, everything's comparative, you see, but I didn't know that most of what was around me was extremely anti-life, extremely technical, extremely negative. And essentially all hate, all anger, all frustration, all hate, all envy, all the most negative emotions that you can think of are what the android artificial beings thrive on, and what is their nature. You know, technology is about survival only. I emphasize that, because human beings, I want to survive too. But it's not the only thing that should fuel me in life. If I get to that level, and hey, I have been at rock bottom to where I can be like that. In fact, I've probably been like that over the last, even though I'm aware of the Matrix and are aware that you're meant to rise to a higher level, shall we say. In reality, you know, the Matrix, because it's come down hard, bringing your body and your mind down and making your life unpleasant on a daily basis. I just showed you petty little things there by showing you that they've ripped up all Every bit of greenery is gone from the front there. Every single thing. It's just dirt and leaves that's left once again after it all come back. It was all back. Like if I had filmed that, but I had no reason to. I didn't think they'd come it again. But of course they will, because they noticed that I noticed it. See, I can't control my thinking. I went out there the other day and I thought, oh, it's good that all the greenery's back. I didn't go into ecstasy over it. See, it shows you how petty and how low they are, that they won't even let you have a moment, because it didn't make, immediately I went out into the matrix and dealing with that. It wasn't like I was happy. I just looked at it for a few seconds and thought, oh, I'm glad it's all back. It looks better than it being barren, and it looks kind of nice to have all the green, and it looked kind of fresh, And I just gave it that thought and thought, oh, it's grown all back. See, but they immediately thought, oh yeah, she saw that it's grown all back and it's all good. She thinks it's better like that. She likes, even though we know there are some people that say it's mainly only weed type, she actually thinks it's like really good. So, which I don't think it's really good. I just think that it's, it's not bad. I'm just pleased that it was all back, and it was, I was thinking, I would definitely I would always just let it run wild and leave it like that. I just let it, and the more that's there, the better it is. I don't look at it like some people where they're like, oh, there's too much of it, it's just all weeds growing everywhere. To me, it covers all the thing, and I thought, to my senses, it was fine. In fact, I liked it. See, okay, so they immediately took it all away. And they made sure that I was in bed at the time. That's right, I could hear the noise, but I thought they were just coming around making their usual noise where they're doing, with the wind blowers and the street, like I was going to film earlier before I did go up to bed, but they turned it off as soon as I come down to film the bit of noise. But also it didn't worry me so much, because I did stuff the stuff right in my ears, and it didn't last for too long. But see, that's why, because they were doing, they were only here to get rid of my stuff, but I didn't know that, because I can't tell where the sound's coming from when I hear it. I didn't think though that either way. That's I have to fold up. I don't know what I'm talking about. I need a drink. I need some coffee or something. I'll be going down to get coffee in a bit too. Down the road. I usually go down and get the coffee down the road and have some tea and stuff here first, and then I gotta. It's quiet now, because it's dark now. This is the quietest will be in the house. All you're dealing with of a night time. In the past, I was dealing with the dog because he was so possessed. He was very bad in those last 2 years, particularly the last year when he couldn't walk at all. So he was doing his business all over the floor all the time, peeing everywhere. It was dangerous. It was unpleasant. It was, at a senses level, it was very unpleasant, and I couldn't keep up with cleaning it up here on my own. My son did come round and help a bit, but he's not here all the time, so, and also the dog was in distress at the last, so a non-barking dog was barking, and that was contributing to the noise, because he had quite a loud bark, and yet he never barked in any of his life. He only barked in the end when he was totally finished by the matrix and by the negative artificial beings that are part of it, that contribute to all these things, despite their innocent appearance. Like I say, if you're a real human being, you're much more likely to make contact with an artificial pretend human being than any real one, because there is very few real ones left. And the matrix will also do everything in its power to turn the Skype off, to stop. It will, if it can't stop you at a technical level, it will stop you at your own level. It will make your life so difficult that maybe you'll be so busy, or you'll be taken up with the matrix one way or another. And if it really gets on top of you, it will deceive you to where you have doubts about even connecting, because you'll say, like myself, you say, well, if I take a chance on connecting, and I picked the wrong one, I'm back in the soup again. But actually, you know, that probably won't be quite so much because you're aware. So even if you're involved, even if you connected with someone and they turn out to be of the psychopathic kind, shall we say. When I say the psychopathic kind, there are different ones in that group probably. But whether it doesn't fully matter in a way, because if you just keep it at that basic generalising level, because if you're dealing with a very cold, self-serving, totally cold, totally self-serving. When I say, I have to say cold and totally self-serving, totally psychopathic personality in the person you're dealing with. So it doesn't matter whether you want to say it's the technically possessed being or whatever. That doesn't fully matter. It's just that you're dealing with that cold, self-serving, totally, and because it's self-serving and because it wants you brought down, because to elevate itself up and to keep control of the matrix, or even if it thinks it's just keeping control of its own individual area, shall we say, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's like done at just a local level where you have these paranoid, psychopathic, technical beings, or even if you wanted to say human beings of that nature that are possessed with that spirit, shall we say, and they need that negative energy. I lost my train of thought. Oh dear. I've lost my train of thought. If you're aware of this situation, you shouldn't be taken in by as much, even if you do take a chance and decide to connect, I would think. And you probably, our main downfall will be our suspiciousness against our own kind. Because don't forget that we will notice that. And so that will be like, it will affect us a lot more than being hurt by those of the matrix. Because you know that they, to be hurt by hate is horrible. To be hurt by love is devastating. That's just me personally anyway. I mean, actually, I have nearly been brought down by the hate of the matrix. I mean, because if I wouldn't even need the love of my own kind if I wasn't battling up against so much hate of the negative matrix and their kind, you see. So you need your own kind desperately more at this time to balance out what is being levelled against you by the hate of this negative matrix kind, you see. Because I could have plodded along in my own life at my age on an even keel. I don't have to look for another high vibrational human being to bring myself up, in other words. I wouldn't have to do that if I wasn't in the negative matrix, but I would never still experience, and maybe I never will. I mean, I have experienced it, but it's not mutual. I mean, in other words, it's not exchange, not at a full level. But I've experienced that possibility, but that's only like where you know and where you allow yourself to go into the thinking of the fantasy, which then is taken and received by the matrix computer control system that's around you and downloaded onto their systems so that they can utilise it to exploit and to manipulate, our own kind. So it's kind of a real big joke against us. They laugh big time at us. They laugh when they defeat us. They laugh. They laugh when you get Skype, and then you don't use it as much as what you should because you don't realise, hey, that what you have shouldn't be taken for granted, because they will take it from you, especially if they know that one out of the two that have it is aware of this. And that maybe even they thought, oh, well, look, this is part of connecting. It's not as good as the real deal. In other words, two people should be face to face. They should, two people should connect in a real way. Technology is a secondary way of making connection with people, even though it is now primary in this reality, and of course that's what they want. But they still don't want a real human to connect even technologically if one of them is able to use the technology to create a vibration. Do you get what I'm saying? Because most of the time, even I, when I've been on Skype, have been so self-conscious, so frightened, so timid about the visuals, because you want to present yourself in the way you feel, but instead you get so self-conscious about your physical demeanour, and are you expressing yourself as well as what I do on a damn video even? Because when it's real, it's not like making a video where you're making a very practical kind of thing to someone on the other side of the world and you're talking about a matrix. It's not personal. And I don't take the video serious like some people. Like if someone leaves a negative comment, which I don't get very many anyway, but if someone does, I'm like, that's their opinion. Who cares? I don't worry about that, because they're entitled to their opinion about a matrix. I know that most people don't see a lot of the stuff. And that doesn't make them sillier than me. It just means that they aren't experiencing it. When they experience it like me, they'll know it too. I wouldn't know it if it didn't come down on me. So I'm not smarter than someone else. No, not at all. I've said this before. Some people are. Some people, like was mentioned, know about these things, have known about them for, 10, 15, 20 years maybe or something. I don't know, but a long time. Whereas I only I did come aware of the personality thing just before, and that's why they came down. But I certainly didn't know it was all the one connection thing. I didn't know that at all, no. I didn't know, and I didn't know it was a total program where you don't have any chance at all of making, a free life for yourself. And that everything around you is watching and levelling everything it can to keep you at a negative level in your existence while you're here. No, I didn't think that would remotely even be possible. I thought, why would they? Because you'd say to yourself, gee, I'm not doing anything. They wouldn't even be bothered with me. But that's because you don't realise that it's all just about your mood and your emotions. And that is something that you certainly know you have that. We all know that. But you just don't realise that this is a spiritual matrix in essence, in a way, but it's been taken over by negative spirituality completely. When I say negative spirituality, it's the opposing force to what a real human being would normally strive for, or normally even need for that matter, and want. Need and want. They're a similar thing. I don't even know why I said that, but because you're in a matrix, that need becomes very great, and so then you become more desperate and more obsessive about finding and keeping a positive connection. But also you just can't help it, because if once you cross a certain line and allow yourself to fall over into that need for that positive vibration, that you really just become a real human being. You just went for that higher other extreme of the love-hate thing that is really what is, I suppose has always made us up. We always knew that, Human beings have always been like, on that continuum of love-hate. The sensible ones strive to be somewhere stuck in the centre, to where they've got a bit of a balance, that's right. But when you go into the higher love thing, when you strive for the highest love vibration, as someone said, then you are always in danger of being pushed you can oscillate between, you become unbalanced if it's not reciprocated, or if the matrix puts you right into confusion, shall we say. Then you'll be like me, where you'll be oscillating backwards and forwards like a pendulum, but too fast, and you don't have control over it. And it's very unpleasant, to say the least. In fact, it can be so unpleasant that if it's pushed into the negative, you can you want to try to annihilate that whole feeling or get rid of it. You'll want to just go back to being suppressed even by the negative matrix, because that's happening anyway, but you want to have that only. You'll say even this love thing is more unpleasant than the hate, because it will put you, it's very hard to explain, but it's because it brings new things in. I suppose they're all kind of similar in a way, but maybe because it's something you haven't experienced before too, so it's a lot more intense. But also it won't leave you alone, and it's in your head, whereas the matrix is operating in your head, but it's external forces that they're using to create and bring you down. They're using noise and sound and light and patrolling and suppression at a physical level, at a physical and at a technical level, by sending negative energies to hurt your body and to limit your body. And that's all psychological, but it's also physical. Whereas the love vibration, once you go for that, that is totally psychological. It's totally psychological. And it's all in your head. There is no, well, of course, the other person is the contributing factor too, because basically it's the oscillation or the interaction between that person. So that takes place in your head, but it's also it's a verbal thing too, because basically it will be exchanged mainly through words because of our limitations at this time. And you won't know. I presume that there's very little real mental connection between myself and most of my own kind even. I don't think that I experience everything that's from them. I believe it is my own. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't be experiencing something similar. But you can only go on the verbal. So until you become like I'm now trying to do, even though it's very hard, because it means putting yourself in a vulnerable position. Because if you don't say something, you hurt inside still, but at the same time, you're not your, the little ego does come into play a little bit. I don't know whether that's even the right word, but you haven't exposed it to the other person, so you could probably still talk to them, and like it's a bit like there was a saying on the internet. What was it? And that was downloaded too from us, by the way, or some of us. Sometimes you're thinking stuff and you don't know that they're downloading it, because don't forget they're downloading stuff that you're not fully aware of too, because we're probably not, like I don't have full consciousness. I probably don't have full consciousness, that's the right word, I think, of my whole mind. I wouldn't know my subconscious say. I've never even believed in those things. I know that you have certain urges and you do get funny feelings and stuff, so you say, where does it come from? But you don't put too much importance on it, Even I haven't analysed things to that extent. But, I lost my train of thought when I went on to that conscious and subconscious. I don't know why I did that, but see, I get trying to collect myself here, and I can't. My hand's starting to ache too, unfortunately. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think I can finish this. See, with the minute see, we do confound ourselves as well as the matrix. See, but is that because I think it's so important? See, because like I say, to put yourself out there when you say something. If you oh, what was it? It's like oh yeah, there was this they downloaded that onto the psychology love internet type thing. Hold on. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Well, this is actually embarrassing in a way. In a way, and I don't think I should be putting this out. See, a lot of the video. See, I should be talking this personal too, but see, like I say, they take these things away. Because Skype could be used to where for one person. For myself, it occurred to me when I was thinking about the Skype, because I was thinking how much of a failure I was on it, that I wasn't able to talk freely. I was nervous, thinking that I was, wanted to come across good. Because if you're just talking, that's one way of communicating. But if you have the visual as well, but maybe someone isn't. It's funny because I thought some people don't notice the physical so much, but then they do pick up on little things. So then you become aware, they're picking up on all the wrong things instead of picking up on the right things. So you're not making the right connection. You're not communicating what you're really feeling to the person. It's coming across all wrong, and then you get frustrated. So then you get nervous, and you're like, I can't do this, but you still want to do it anyway, because even if you like something, you like to see it, so it doesn't matter. But if you think it matters to them, if you think it's giving them a bad vibe about you to where they won't want to do it again, then you will become reluctant. You will want to do it so much, but you will become, I got to wait till that person shows that they want to do it, because if I do it and they get more bad feeling or get the wrong vibe, get the wrong impression, or just can't handle it like you can't, whichever way you look at it, I don't know, then you will want to go in, you will want it so much, but at the same time you will be, I'm not going to push it, because if I push it and then it goes worse, then you lose even more. So it's like that. But then you're losing by not doing it, because you're frustrated every day. So it's like that. So you can't win. So the matrix wins again. But with the Skype type thing, if it occurred to me just after I had used it last time, before it was taken away. And I liked the fact that it was there anyway. I actually thought, in fact, I was angry, because I'm like, oh, it's so easy, it's there. I can see it there when I check the phone. I think, but, I'm not using it, not able to use it, we're not using it, sort of thing, But at least it's still there, because someone can contact at least at some time. It's an extra thing, and no doubt it will happen at some point. But at the same time, I kind of hated it, because I'm like, what's the point after all this time getting it when I don't use it? I want to use it extra more now. I want to use it a lot, as much as you can, as much as the matrix will allow you to, and as much as you allow yourself, because like I say, you haven't always got the time. That's right. I don't have the mobile with me all the time. I only have it here, so that means that there's a limited time when I'm home to when I can actually turn on things. But that's my own foibles too. But also it's because no one will help me. Because I could use more things. That's why I couldn't get those WhatsApp apps and all these things. What in the hell am I doing on this video? Oh dear, this is supposed to be a video about the trees, and I'm talking. I've just gone off. I better stop.